Hi guys, it's Eleanor here. It's been quite a while since I last spoke to you all, and it's for various reasons, but mainly because there's just been a lot going on at the moment. I think we're all feeling the strain of what is going on at the moment, and there's so many things that people are dealing with way worse than me, but there was just things going on that meant I just didn't feel like filming. We obviously had our Disney holiday that we've been paying for and looking forward to for 3 years cancelled, which in the grand scheme of things is just minor, but did come with a sense of disappointment. And I feel like if something like that has happened to you, it's okay to feel disappointed. So often we're told, you know, oh, why are you disappointed? There's people dying, there's things happening, and that is true, and these times are difficult, but I think you must allow yourself to feel during this time, and I felt disappointed about that for a few days, and then I picked myself up and carried on. And part of the reason why I've had to just keep going is, if you didn't know, I work in a school. And so while people have been self-isolating and distancing, that isn't a choice for me or for my family, because I am teaching and working in schools with lots of children up until yesterday, when we found out that schools were going to close. They closed yesterday. But not for us, not for those teachers and TAs and school workers that are going to be opening their doors on Monday still for the children of key workers, those in need, the vulnerable, and children that are in need. And so it's then working out that logistics, because obviously my daughter will have to come with me on Monday to school, and we don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know how many children there's going to be. We don't know if we're going to have too many staff. We don't know what we're going to do, how we're going to manage it, how it's going to work. There'll be no Easter, so how does that work? I mean, obviously people aren't doing things for Easter anyway, but I'm sure the teachers that I work with were expecting to have a sleep because I have never had so much respect for a group of people that, oh my gosh, I've never had so much respect for a group of people that I work with before this week. The teachers and staff that I work with and the head teacher are just amazing, and you don't see that everywhere. You don't see that in every school. Not every school is the way that mine is. We have all teachers in, hardly any have been off, and we've had everyone in working together as a team, staying positive for the children. Some of these children are in year 6 and may never ever see our school again if this goes on. They may then move on to secondary school. And I think we underestimate how much they feel that without even being able to express it. In the last week, I've seen children cry for little things. I've seen children angry and confused without really knowing why. I've had to emotionally deal with the fact that my daughter may never go back to her infant school. The next time she goes to school, it could be going to my school, and what that means for her and how that might feel for her. And I think I've talked briefly on my channel before about the fact that Matilda suffers. She gets very anxious. She's not very good with change and change of structure. So these times have been difficult at home because she is crying about having to come to my school and not really knowing what's going on. And it's just very difficult. And like I say, I've just never been prouder to work for such an amazing school, because my school is phenomenal. They are just amazing. The head and the senior leadership team have spent hours and nights and sleepless nights dealing with this and trying to make it the best for everyone possible, and to provide this service for children and, you know, parents who are desperately in need of people to be with their children so that they can help save lives and do those essential jobs that are needed. So yeah, so there's been all that going on, and when I've come home I have been reading, but I just haven't wanted to film, and so that's why I haven't. I've also got an 80, I won't say how old she is, actually, she might not like that. My grandmother, who is old enough that she is having to self-isolate, and she is on her own, and she is normally my parents would be here and would also be a support for her, and they live near her, but my parents are stuck in New Zealand after visiting my brother. They can no longer get home, so they are there for the foreseeable future, at least till June. My dad is runs his own business, so I'm also helping him run that business from home. But we do things, and do you know what, like, yeah, there's a lot going on, and I'm not the only one there's a lot going on for, and there's a lot going on for more people, but I have been truly moved by the kindness that I have seen around me. And I know we see in the news, we see people stockpiling, we see people doing things they shouldn't and being angry, but in my community I have just seen so much love. In the road that I live in, people are sharing and offering to help people, are delivering things to people. I've had people helping each other out when I've seen them in the street, people looking out for each other. That really just makes me proud of where I live. So me and my nan, who thankfully is technologically savvy, so she can FaceTime and things like that. So me and my nan are doing a FaceTime book club. I sent her a couple of books in the post that I also had on my shelf, and we are currently reading those together. So we're reading, and then we're going to talk about them, and we FaceTime every day just to check up on each other and catch up. And I'm looking forward to doing that with her, and to have this sort of virtual book club. I have been reading, a lot of the books that I've been reading are, I'm reading the final book that I need to read for the BookTube Prize, my non-fiction category, so I need to get that done in the next few days so that I can send through my my votes for everything, and then just sort of picking up books that were on my TBR for the month and working through them slowly. And yeah, so that is what's happening there. Also, I haven't been reading for as long a periods. My attention span seems to be really down at the moment, so whereas I used to be able to read for a good hour, that's not happening anymore. I can only really concentrate maybe for half an hour maximum. So I have discovered some other things that I wanted to share with you in case, you know, you were looking for some ideas. I have discovered solo player board games. Jamie, my husband, enjoys playing a board game every now and again, and obviously my daughter enjoys playing a board game every now and again, but with my daughter it depends on like what age it's suitable for and what she can cope with, and for my husband, he has other things he needs to do, other priorities that he wants to do in his spare time, and so sometimes I am left to my own devices, and so I wanted games that I could play myself because I really do love them. So I'm going to show you a couple of those. The first one actually I haven't played yet, so you'll have to tell me if you've played it and it's good, and it's called Castellion. This is made by a company called Z-Man Games, by Shadi Torbay, and it says it's an Omniverse game, and I've picked this up because I have another game I'm going to show you in a minute that I have played and I love, and this one just looked really good as well. So it's a solo player game. It says build Castellion, your castle, a majestic towering bastion, is the last line of defence against the dreaded menace, a polymorphic entity whose sole purpose is to annihilate the dream world. A tile game in Omniverse. Strategically place the defender tiles to create powerful defence formations. Use dream powers to transform your castle and survive the many faces of the menace and its avatars. I really loved, as I say, this other game in this same universe, and yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this one when the time comes. The one I was talking about is called Sylvian. Now, Sylvian is a card game and a solo player card game, or you can play with more people. I think it goes up to 1 to 2 people. But I play it on my own. It's for sort of 10 years plus, and initially I was a bit scared when I opened the box and looked inside, but there are so many YouTube tutorials and walkthroughs and helps, and this comes with sort of 2 or 3 levels to it. So I've started with the really basic level, and I'm just going to keep playing that one until I actually win the game, because I read somewhere how easy it was to win the basic level. I've still not done it, so I need a bit more practice, but there is different levels you can go to with this, so there's plenty of gameplay there for me for the foreseeable future. I have also become rather addicted to escape room games. I've always loved a good escape room. But I went to a board game cafe a while ago with my friend Tracy from Flamingo Reads, and we played this escape room board game while we were there. It was sort of card game, and I loved it, so I picked up loads to keep me going. So they're called Unlock. And in each box you get 3 games. You use an app to do your timing and get hints and input codes and things, but it's mainly done via the cards that are in the box. So this is one of them, and I won't show you them all. Well, I suppose I can, but there is lots of different theming and different themes of games. I have 5 now, 5 of these with 3 in, so I've got 15 games and I've only done 1 so far, so I've got plenty to go with. So I've really been enjoying that. And then also something that I have been playing with my husband is a game that I actually heard about from my the lady that does my nails, which I am loving at the moment, and that is Sherlock the Consulting Detective. And basically with this, it's a game where you've got a map of London and you are Sherlock and Watson, and you take on a case and you're reading, so you read out the case out loud, and then you have to go and investigate different people, and so you go and visit someone and you look through the book and it gives you what happens when you go to wherever they are, and then you have to try and unravel what you think's happened. There's questions when you're ready, when you feel like you sort of exhausted everything, you know what's going on, you go to the question portion of the case, you write down your answers to the questions, and then you reveal and read the actual solution, and you get points depending on how many you get right. So we really enjoyed playing this. We played this once so far, and we really did enjoy it, so we're going to do one of the other cases I think tonight, and that's a really nice thing to do together. And another game that I did discover again with Tracy, which I've been wanting to play for ages, is Forbidden Desert, Thirst for Survival. This is a game where there is 3 now, I think, in this series. There is Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, and I think it's Forbidden Stars, or Forbidden Sky. But I know that the lady in the board game cafe said this is the sort of middle one. Forbidden Island's quite easy to play. The gameplay is much easier. This one's sort of a middle ground, and then the Stars is really difficult, and she said it was really tricky for her, so I thought this is best. I played this with Tracy. I really loved it, so I picked up a copy in the board game cafe because I thought me and Jamie would enjoy playing it together, and we have. We really enjoyed playing this. It's sort of a tile game. I don't know if you can see much on the back, but you are trying to build your airship. You've crash landed in the desert, you're trying to build your airship, and you're turning over different things. There's different actions you can do depending on what character you decide to play, and it's just a real joy to play. I would say it probably takes about an hour to play, which is quite a nice sort of length of time, and we've really been enjoying that one. Now to talk about family games we've been enjoying. One is downstairs, so I'm not going to go and get it, but I'll try and put a picture on the screen here. Is called Sleeping Queens. I actually bought this for Matilda for Christmas, and she has been loving playing it. She beats us all the time. It's such a good game. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite simple. It's basically a game where you have 12 queens and they're laid face down on the table. You have sort of cards in your hand, and the idea is you win when you get 5 queens, and to wake those queens up that are on the table, you either lay a king if you've got it in your hand, or you can steal them off other players using knights, and they can defend with dragons. You can put their queens to sleep by using a magic potion, although they can counteract that spell with a magic wand. It's a really lovely sort of card playing game. We've really loved it. We've really sort of got into it, and so I picked up a couple more made by the same game people. So I picked up this one called Long Cow. Right, this is the best thing about this so far. Did you hear that? I'll do it again. I think that's a cow. This one, I believe, we haven't played it as of yet, but you are creating cows and earning points and making pairs, and I just think this looks brilliant. And the other one is called Too Many Monkeys, and this is to do with a monkey being asleep, swung by for a surprise pajama party, and it's to do with monkeys and picking up certain cards, and it's a fun card game, so I'm looking forward to playing those two. We haven't played them yet together. Another game that we've been playing, well, me and Matilda have played together, but we're going to play with Daddy today, is one that I'd heard about from a friend a long time ago, and she just raved about it. She said both her children of different age groups loved, and that is Labyrinth. There is so many different sort of versions of this now. There's like a Harry Potter one, a Star Wars one, but I picked up the original. And in this you have a board, and when it's your turn you are pushing a tile in certain places to try and create a route for yourself to reach whichever icon is on your card, and you have to get through all your cards to win. And once we got to grips with this and we got going with it, it was really good fun, and we really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend that if you want a bit of a longer game to play with children to keep them occupied. And then the last thing I want to talk about in terms of non-bookish things is, well, there's a couple of things actually. I made a list of things that I wanted to do, and I used to love when I was a child doing cross stitch. I found it really relaxing, and I thought it's quite a nice thing when you're listening to an audiobook. And so I've picked myself up a cross stitch kit, and it's got a unicorn on, which I love, and this is something that I would like to sit and do you know, and get started with and just take my time with, and hopefully to make something that I can put up in Matilda's room because she is obsessed with unicorns. So I picked myself up a cross stitch pack, and then I picked up, we've decided if we are in self-isolation or one weekend, we are going to have a pyjama, puzzle and pizza day. And so I bought each of us a puzzle on our individual tastes, and we'll be making our own puzzles and just chilling out and in our pajamas. So I'll show you the ones I got. Now this one's a bit ambitious for Matilda. It's quite a lot of pieces, but I thought it would be a good one maybe to do for her over a few days, and that is a Disney one. I don't know if you can see because they've still got the cellophane on, but this is 500 pieces, so I'm looking forward to seeing if she can stick it out and actually do this one. I got my husband a Star Wars puzzle because he loves Star Wars, and I got myself a bookshop. So I'm going to be doing a bookshop. So myself and my husband's one are 1,000 pieces, and then Matilda's is 500. I've also got some bits in a box over there. I won't show you them, but they are some things that we had bought for Matilda to give to her when we went to Disney. There were some things to keep her occupied on the plane, and some various other things that were sort of special things that we'd got for her. So I'm keeping hold of those, and over the next few weeks and months I will be slowly sort of giving them to her at the right time, so I'm excited about that for her. Right, give me a minute to tidy up all of this, and then I will get some books because I also have a book haul to show you. Okay, so let's go into the book haul. I was very, very lucky to receive this one. It came at just the right time, and I'm actually going to start it today, and that is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. I've really enjoyed Jen Bennett's writing. She did Alex Approximately, The Atomical Shape of a Heart, Starry Eyes, The Lady Rogue, and I'm just very excited to read this one. It's about a photographer, Josie, who has spent half her life with her single mother, moving around from city to city, but then they return to their historical New England hometown years later to run the family bookstore. That's a big tick. But she's got bigger plans than this, and she knows that eventually she's going to leave. But then she runs into the town bad boy and her former childhood best friend, and it's about something that happens at a pool party, and trying to discover why this boy has changed so much, and there's bound to be a love story. And I just think love stories and sweet happy endings, fingers crossed, is what I'm looking for at the moment. So I'm going to be reading this one as of today. I was sent my my Wildest Dream box, and it came with this really beautiful star bracelet, which I may give to my daughter, or I may wear it myself. I haven't decided yet. It said, "You could rattle the stars, you could do anything if only you dared," and that is a quote from Sarah J. Maas. Let's get this out and then you can see it a bit clearer. So I think I may be putting that on my own wrist. Then the book that came was called Fight Like a Girl by Sheena Kamal. This is quite a thin book, but I don't think that matters. It's from Hotkey Books, and it's sort of key at the bottom says fight, love and live. It's about a Muay Thai kickboxer, and she's a woman from Trinidad. She loves this Thai kickboxing. She loves the rush she gets afterwards. But she sees that her mother is just a little too at peace with her father's recent accidental death, and she suspects that there's something more going on there, and so she starts to investigate. This one was very kindly gifted to me from the lovely Tracy. It is Abby Elphinstone's Sky Song, which I haven't read any Abby Elphinstone before, but it's one that I've wanted to read. And this one is set in a snowy kingdom where there's whales and icebergs and wolves, and an evil ice queen. So I'm looking forward to trying this one. I recently read Penelope Douglas's Punk 57, and that was a 5-star read for me. I loved it, and so I decided I was going to pick up some more. Everyone says that Birthday Girl is the one to go for, is one of her best, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go myself. I think Penelope Douglas's books push the boundary of the acceptability in terms of romance and sort of make you question things. There is quite a lot of steaminess and romance. This one is about a girl who is 19 and she moves in with her boyfriend and his father, and I think her and the father have a relationship. He's 38. I'll be interested to see what I think of this one. And then Credence, which I've heard is very dark and goes sort of a lot darker than some of her others. I don't know much about this. It's about a film producer and starlet's daughter who ends up somewhere in the middle of nowhere with 3 men. I don't know, but it looked good. And the next one I was very kindly sent by the publisher, and it is Destination Anywhere by Sarah Bernard. And this is about a girl. She has never really had any friends. She thinks sixth form college is going to be different. She goes, she gets a boyfriend, friends. They then let her down in a really troubling way, or they let her down quite badly, and she decides that she's not going to let that get her down, so she buys a one-way ticket, gets on a plane with a backpack and goes off in search of herself and what she wants from life. I'm really looking forward to this one, especially as we cannot get on a plane at the moment. A book that I think everyone is looking to read soon is Sarah J Maas's Crescent City. I really enjoy Sarah J Maas's writing style. The inside of this book is just beautiful, and if I'm honest, I don't know an awful lot about it at all. I think it is an adult epic fantasy, so I think it's her first adult book. I could be wrong, but it's about a crescent city where there's partying all night in clubs, and there's angels, shifters, human and fae, and then a demon murdered our main character's closest friend, and there's going to be a story surrounding that. The next book I think is this sort of trope of the fake boyfriend. It's The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. There's 2 characters, there's things going on. For whatever reason they end up fake dating, and I'm sure they'll realise they have more in common than they thought. The next book I think is going to be really heartfelt and such an interesting exploration of gun violence and guns. It's called 3 Things I Know Are True by Betty Cully. This is about a girl. I think she's going to be our main protagonist and our narrator. Her elder brother 5 years previous had shot himself with a gun. He didn't realise it was loaded. It was an accident, but now he is confined to a bed at home. He has machines keeping him alive. He can't walk or talk, and his best friend, who I think lives sort of across the road or something, she hasn't spoken to since the accident. There is some sort of lawsuit or something going on because the gun belonged to the best friend's dad, so there's this sort of animosity there, and I think, yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I don't know if there's going to be romance in there or whether it is more, it might be maybe these 2 people coming together, but I think it's just definitely going to be an interesting story nonetheless. The next one is about this sort of meet cute idea. It's called Would Like to Meet by Rachel Winters. It's about a woman trying to save her job by going and setting herself out to try and fall in love like they do in the movies. I think this is meant to be funny. I've also got it on audio, so I will be listening to this quite soon because I'm in the need for just some nice heartfelt books. A book that was on one of my most anticipated is Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. This is about a plane Everybody dies bar this 12-year-old boy, and it's about sort of being the survivor and what that means and how that affects you. A random book that I picked up just because I just really liked the look of it. It's called Ladies Swimming Circle by Sophie Green. Oh, the Shelley Bay Ladies Swimming Circle, apologies. I picked this up in the romance section of the London Waterstones when I went with Matilda. I just sort of picked it up randomly. It says the seaside suburb of Australia's Golden Coast, 4 women head to the water to swim every day. Housewife Teresa wants to get fit. She also wants a few precious minutes to herself, so at sunrise each day she strikes out past the waves. From the same beach the widowed Marie swims. With her husband gone, it's the one constant in her new life. Elaine takes to sea, having recently moved from England, while Leanne is 25 years old and only has herself to rely on when the water gets rough. In the waters of Shelley Bay, these 4 women find each other. They will survive jellyfish stings and heartbreak. They will laugh so hard they swallow water, and they will plunge their tears into the ocean's salt. Most of all, they will cherish their newfound friendship each and every day. Great book on friendship, I think. I also picked up this one. It's one I'm slightly unsure of, but I really liked the premise. It's called When the Stars Lead to You by Ronnie Davis. It's about a girl. She has this magical summer with a boy. He then ups and disappears out of her life, and she was in love with him, and she spent a year sort of picking herself up and getting herself together. She's in her final year of school. She wants to be an astrophysicist, and all of a sudden on the first day of school this boy turns up, and then he's everywhere she looks, and I'm sure there will be sort of a story built around that. Just a couple more. I picked up this one. I read on someone, I saw on someone's channel them talking about this and saying how good it was. It's The Kingmaker. It's a first book in All the King's Men series by Kennedy Ryan. I don't know much about this. It's about a man, ruthless ambition. There's bound to be a woman and some sort of dilemma. I think the two are opposed to each other because someone has stole from the other. Maybe a bit 50 Shades of Greyish, I don't know, but I needed a bit of steamy romance in my life, so I picked this one up. And then the last one is also a romance, but more of a sort of lighter, less steamy and more romance. This is Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I've heard really great things about this. It's about a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan and a list. And after almost but not quite dying, she comes up with a list of directives to help her get a life. Enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorbike, go camping, have meaningless but thoroughly enjoyable sex, travel the world with nothing but hand luggage, and do something bad. And then she meets this man. He's all of those things, and then maybe she's starting to want more than she expected. So I've heard good things about this. So plenty of books should I need them. And yeah, that is what's going on in my life. Some board games and games that we've been playing, some puzzles and cross stitch, some books that have come in to go on my shelves, and I will no doubt come back at some point soon and talk to you about the books that I've been reading, but yeah, it just depends. I don't know how many videos I'll be making in the sort of next however long. It just depends how my mental health is and what I'm doing to keep myself sort of going and safe and healthy and secure. So anyway, this is me signing out, and I hope you're all doing well, and please feel free to use the comments here as a safe space to discuss and talk and be positive to each other and show some love to someone today. Go out and, well, you can't go out, but what I mean is go away from this video and text someone, FaceTime someone, tell someone you love them, do something kind for someone, write someone a letter, write someone an email, even better. Yeah, just be kind to each other and look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.